Welcome back. Tackling youth unemployment is a discussion we are having, and you found us at the tail end of this conversation in case you're just tuning in. But Dr. Awiti, just as we are wrapping up this conversation, we got one feedback from a professor who was saying, for me, my classes are practical, right? And it helps the students gain the knowledge and the experience that the employers ask for, which also goes into their CVs. Some have even successfully started other businesses. Do we need to change how we teach? Because at the end of the day, you still find people who have master's degrees but are still not employed. So
there's two constraints to how we structure education, especially higher education, that has one regulator called the Commission for University Education. And this is a conversation that we've had with them, that our system seems to privilege the inputs into the process, but we don't care how she turns out. Okay, so we want to see this, we want to see that, show us this, show us that. And as the professor said, that CUE is interested in a curricular design, an instructional design that leads to an examination, that leads to a grade. A practical examination? No, just an exam. Like I give you, I teach you a lot of stuff in 16 weeks or 13 weeks at a semester, then you write an exam. Now CUE wants to look at that curriculum in that kind of design. What the professor is saying, that he wants to move a lot of that experience outside the classroom into the workspaces and using real life problems, and then use that as part of what constitutes a student's grade. For CUE, that is difficult to measure. So that's one critical regulatory constraint to how we design education programs. The other problem is that our colleagues at the university, and Mugo and myself understand this very well, is that we are not good teachers. We are lecturers. We do not understand instructional design and pedagogy. We basically just pontificate at these students. We don't create environments that engage students. But now there's a lot of reform in pedagogy and instructional design. There is now leading students and professors to be co-creators of knowledge. Not the professor being the sage on the stage, but now being the guide on the side that enables people to learn, to co-create in an environment that is almost one of parity, because they can find the information. And I always say to professors, if you cannot allow students in your class to be on Facebook and to be on Twitter and to be on Google, then you don't know what you're doing. You should let them do that. If you're a good teacher, then the kids will pay attention to you because you're creating an environment that involves them. But if you're boring them stiff, they'll get distracted. They'll be Facebooking their friends, etc. But those are also gadgets that we need to bring into the classroom, because it's crowdsourcing and co-creating that knowledge. So we need to start thinking about how do we involve students in designing curricula, in creating learning outcomes that help them to meet the requirements of the job that is out there. So if we changed how we taught, perhaps it would also happen. Absolutely. Right? And this is also what is the promise of the basic education curriculum framework. They were changing pedagogy. And that's why people with charities qualification are now the right kind of caliber of teachers that we need in our schools. And it's really shocking that they don't want it in there.
Because actually what we are saying is that, like in Tibet, we are solving exactly what he is talking about, because there is no you can just teach and teach. You must do it that hands-on, and the trainer should help you to be innovative and creative, so that as you go out there, you are not expecting somebody to talk to you, you are expecting to solve a problem in the society. Actually, I'm encouraging all leaders in this country to preach TVET and tell them to go to the technical institutions. There are some places the institutions are there, like he said earlier, but they are now students. The leaders should come up, and especially the MPs and these MOCs we are saying here, they should give them bursaries. As the government is giving them capitation and the help, we are really praying that help can give everybody, even in the private sector. They should give the students help, because this is a loan. Everybody will pay. So currently the private institutions, they are not getting help. They should be given that money, because we are telling them go to the institution and a skill that give you a living. So we have to change the way of teaching. We have to teach what is required in the industry and encourage the trainees to go to the TVET institutions, especially those in the rural areas. You can go to areas like coastal region. The students are not going to TVET. The institutions are there, but they are not even full. But you go to some regions where the politicians have taken upon themselves to preach TVET. The institutions are full, actually, they're overflowing. So it is a leadership issue that the leaders of this country should tell the youth where to go and also facilitate them, because they have the resources.
But also I think to achieve that, Glories, a few things need to change. For instance, when you leave Form 4, one person goes to the university, another one to a technical training institute. The one going to TTI is told to put on uniform. or vocational training centers. Another one goes to a vocational training center. Many of those places I've been to, and they are adults over 18. They are asking for money to buy computers and all that for internet, and yet students are not allowed to come with a smartphone the way Alex is saying. So some of these also policy inconsistencies. In primary school and secondary school, we are investing a lot now to buy gadgets. Yeah. And yet, the smartphone is a criminal. When you are found with a smartphone,
it's a problem.
It's a very big issue. So shouldn't we just train our young people how to use internet responsibly? Because if we don't teach them in secondary school, how do we expect they will learn? And we know for sure they are our children. They have these gadgets at home. So we are burying our heads in the sand, saying they'll watch pornography, they'll do all this, instead of now teaching them, training them how to responsibly use internet and bringing these gadgets to class rather than investing in buying gadgets. What we should be investing in now is connectivity, Wi-Fi, so that it's accessible everywhere, not buying gadgets which students cannot bring. You know. So also this policy inconsistency, I think, will, when we address that, will accelerate our movement.
Charity, you know, before we went on the second commercial break, you talked about how young people are frustrated. If the government is not sensitive enough towards young people, a revolution could happen. But Mugo wanted to challenge you. I want him to respond to that.
Yes, for me, Charity, I think the best revolution is voting, a voting revolution.
A ballot.
A ballot revolution. Look at what is happening in Kibera. You guys are being paid 6K, you know, and all that, and you'll vote the wrong person. So why don't you eat the money because you need it, and because it is your money anyway, it was stolen from you.
At the end of the day.
But then when you go to vote, you just decide that anyone who has stolen come 2022, full stop, because you can determine that you have all the votes. Those of us who are older than 35 are so few.
Yeah.
And we cannot actually protect ourselves when it comes to voting. You guys can now just decide that in 2022 you are voting for integrity, you are voting for people who you know have your concerns at heart. Because for me, I think that's the best revolution that can happen. And we have seen it happen in Makueni. All MCAs were voted out apart from one. We saw it in Nandi, what was happening. But in most places, you guys, I think, are just asleep. You are being cheated with 200 bob, and you sell your rights. And now the rest of the 5 years, you are here complaining that there are no jobs, and you voted the wrong people.
Charity, do you agree with Mugo? Because you see right now, yes, young people are frustrated. Then what happens? So 2-3 months from now, you get a job. 2022, you've forgotten how frustrated you are back in 2019, 2018. Then you vote for the same person.
Okay,
are young people serious? Yeah.
First of all, I'd like to comment on something that he had said earlier on.
Sure.
About employers wanting, employers complaining that young people, when they employ young people, they lack certain skills. But a challenge that I'd like to give employers is, all of them were young one time. Do you want to tell me that they entered that job fully equipped? Were they having all the, were they all rounded? Were they having all the skills that they are demanding that we have?
Someone gave them a chance.
Someone gave them a chance.
Right.
And that's the chance that they are denying us. Okay, and about what he has challenged me. Personally, right now, things have changed. The script is changing. Personally, my friends or the people I interact with, this is what we are going to do currently. We are thinking about what you're going to do in 2022. We're not going to put back people who have shown us very, very clearly that they don't care about us.
So you don't think come 2022 young people would have forgotten, and then, you know, at that time, that 6K you're talking about will probably go all the way to 20K because it's campaign mode. You don't think young people would be fooling themselves and then putting back the same people?
Let me tell you
2021, I'm unemployed.
Let me tell you the truth about something. In Kenya, there are young people who are very conscious and aware about what's happening, and they're ready to change, and still there are some ignorant people. So the key thing right now is to help these ignorant ones become more aware, because we are being affected directly, all of us. So I believe come 2022, with the kind of economy that we are having right now, things will change. And some people who have done what they are doing, because you are seeing them, politicians, you are seeing them, you know, people are somewhere spending money, and, you know, people, it's quite hurting for me to even speak of it. You're going out there squandering money, or we have seen countless scandals or exposés that are being done. These people who are heading these institutions are still in. No one is being sacked. So the thing is, it shows us that the main employer, like the president, if the president wanted to, he could sack these people and reform everything.
No one is being held accountable.
Yeah, no one is being held accountable. We are seeing it. And for me, I won't forget. My friends won't forget. We will definitely do what you are saying. So we are trying to get these ignorant ones on board so that we can make this revolution happen, because it's going to happen. Because practically, you are seeing this Punguza Mzigo thing. The people we have voted in, they have refused to help us punguza our mizigo. Because, you know, for me, it is personal, because I'm going there. Let's say I get a job today or tomorrow. Yes. The tax that will be on me will be a lot. So these people who I voted in to help me are refusing, because the things that what Punguza is trying to do is something really good, but they know they don't want to make it happen. So for us, we won't forget, and for the few people I know, we won't forget. So I believe, even right now, there's a youth who has listened to me, and maybe I've put them on board. We are trying to reduce the number of ignorant people. So let me tell you, it will be a different script come 2022. Trust you me.
We'll see. Yeah. Okay, Charity for president. Our time is up, but I need to take closing comments. I'll begin with you, Dr. Awiti.
So thanks, Zinzi. I think to our viewers out there, we shouldn't lose hope. Our problems are made by us. Our problems must be solved by us, and they will be solved by us. I think, you know, I've lived in this country for not so many years, but the great sweep of history is that we make progress. Sometimes we take one step back, and it's disheartening. But I think on the grand scheme of things, we have made tremendous progress. What we now need to do is to focus on the things that will put this country where it needs to be, especially with respect to what we do for the youth, because this is the future of the country. All of us saying,
the youth have been the future for a long time, Dr.
No, because I was young too. Now I'm the future. Now we're handing over.
Charity.
It's not reflecting.
When President Moore used to say that we're the leaders of the future, I didn't believe that. Today I'm sitting here and I can speak directly with the president and tell him something that he has to listen to. John and I conduct research. We are providing that leadership. So we were given a chance, just like you were asking. What I'm saying to the government and all of us, and when we met yesterday with the TVETA people, we say, and I was telling Professor Kerry, that we keep talking about policymakers. Who are they? It is John and I and Glory. We have access to these people. What do we whisper in their ears? We're going to launch the 3 studies that we did today. Professor Magoha, hopefully, is going to be there. Kefit Desai, the PS TVET is going to be there. We have access to these people. So what I'm saying to Charity is that we will solve these problems. As you say, and as Jonah said, we have to use the power of the ballot too. So we have a huge problem now, but we have a huge potential as well in young people such as yourselves.
Glory, your closing statement?
I'm telling our viewers that there is a lot of hope in this country, and I'm encouraging young people to make sure they have skills and the right skills, to have the right attitude, and they will go very far. The good thing is the government has been listening to us. He has said, actually, we are the policymakers. We are able to reach somebody. We have been fighting, requesting for funding. It has come. They are being given the 30,000 capitation. Help has given the public institutions. We are hoping that help will consider all the youth, because I'm speaking for every youth of this country. They have been complaining to me. Those in some institutions are not getting even help. So you start wondering, whose youth are these? Even if they're in a private institution, who are they? They are public students. So we are praying that the good thing is that we are talking to those people. I'm talking to help. I'm telling them, the CEO Regera, I'm telling him, make sure this money is available to them. It's a loan they are going to pay. The government also, the policies, we are praying that whatever we have been suggesting, somebody should implement so that the artisans of this country will be recognized. Because another problem, how much are we paying the people who are doing the skills? They are the poorly paid. There should be a policy to recognize the skills and give them the best. Some countries, if you are a plumber, you are paying the best. If you are an electrician, you are paid a lot of money. But in Kenya, actually, they get very minimal payment. So these policies has to change so that they recognize them, to encourage them to do those skills.
Charity, your closing remark?
Personally, I'd like to say that most people out there view the youth as problematic, because most of them see them as people not really relaxed. They were saying that we don't have skill and all. Sometimes, the fact is that some people want older people in their working places because maybe they see them as less. There was a study that was saying that the number of the youth don't want to stay in a certain place for a long time. It's because we want progress. And for me, maybe I stay in your company for 5 years. I'd like to grow or further my education. And after I further my education, if I come back to the same company, mind you, the amount of value that will be there will be value addition.
Right.
But now you find people want people who will stay there for 20 years plus, but still there's no, you know, the idea of progress currently and trying to get a new way of thinking. That's what we are trying to inculcate if you employ us. So you should just give the youth flexibility, because as Kipchoge said, I'm unlimited. I can be a news anchor today. I can come here for your job, Zinzi. You know?
By all means.
You know, yeah, I can be the president the other time.
By all means.
See, because even that politician out there, he started somewhere. It's not that he was bred to be a politician. He saw a problem, he wanted to handle it. But when he reached somewhere, things changed, you see.
That's true.
So we should give the youth chances. We should avoid burdening them with these taxes, because right now I was reading the newspaper, I think that last week, our debt has really increased. So who do you want to tell, like, that burden, it's my burden, my children's burden, their children's of their children's burden. So if the youth see this in that manner, they'll know that they have to choose wisely and they have to put in leaders who will make a change. Like me, I can be. I'm not limited. Am I limited?
Right.
Yeah, so
Charity
we can.
for president. Mr. Mugo, your closing
yes,
remark.
I would like first of all to talk to people who are in TVET, because I think as Kenya now we are standing in a golden moment. The enrollment in TVET has nearly doubled over the last 4 years, and we are hearing what employers are saying. So let us look at how we are providing environments to equip youth with the skills that are demanded out there, so that there is a direct transfer from the training room to the working space. And then also to employers, and I being one of them, I think we must be committed to creating opportunity for youth. If your office has an extra chair or an extra desk, and you think you can afford 20,000 to give a young person opportunity for 6 months to come and learn skills and have that experience in a working space, I think if 2,000 employers took two youth each, that's I think the way to make progress, rather than looking at just profit. Let's also try to have our personal commitment to resolve the real crisis that is in the youth in our society.
Thank you so much. That's John Mugo. Mr. John Mugo, he is a research scientist who has been involved in over 3 studies. We talked about one of them here. Very quickly, is this available to the youth?
Yes, we are launching this today at the KICD. It will be on the website, it will be all over, even on Twitter. So follow this. We have a lot of insight and data to help make decisions. And
sitting next to Mr. Mugo is Charity Misheni, who perhaps one day will become the first woman president. She is an education, and I wish you all the best when it comes to job hunting, Charity.
Thank you so much.
Sitting next to Charity, we had Glory Mutungi. She's the chairperson for the Kenya Association of TVET. Thank you so much for coming in as well. And Dr. Alex Owiti, no stranger to TV, the Vice Provost of Aga Khan University. All of you, thank you for being part of this conversation. I'm told we have 13 tweets and 12 SMSs. I'll try and get as many in. Let's go. Governor 254. Good morning. You say Kenya has universities offering good engineering courses, but you will never find graduates from these universities in road construction sites or generally the construction industry. All you find are foreign engineers doing both the managerial and word hack. You continue to talk about most of our graduates today are equipped with knowledge but lack required skills. This is because of quantity education we receive in our universities and colleges rather than quality education. Levis, you say lecturers can create their own jobs. We see them on the streets time to time demanding better pay, and still think these guys can train us well to create jobs. Wow, interesting question. You say our universities are offering courses without portfolio. Funny courses like Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science. This should be scrapped because they are not any helpful. Rarity Override. Interesting usernames on Twitter. You say imminent problems is not lack of skills but no jobs. Those who have no jobs and have never worked are asked to start businesses. Those who have jobs are aging in employment with no business. Unless the employed quit for business, we are not ending this discussion. Oh, wow. Robert, you say skills and those other social skills the panelists have emphasized are just a fraction of the real youth who are unemployed. Leaders should stop blaming youth for lack of good business environment that has never been created by corruption and nepotism, or rather has been created by corruption and nepotism. Stephen, good morning. You say, where should youth get working experience if not absorbed in the market? Hillary, good morning. Majority of graduates in Kenya cannot communicate or express themselves properly in English. This is due to background issues. That shouldn't be an excuse not to be employed, because even Swahili is an official language. Samuel, you say, let the government not torture our youth who have been tortured through hardship lives in various campuses. Let's not accept to be buried alive with fresh brains. Juma, you say, as long as appointments are based on political affiliations rather than competency, as long as there is plunder of economic resources, then forget addressing youth unemployment. This is Kenya. We know how it works. You ought to know somebody who knows somebody in order to be employed. Poor Tycoon 4. You say, we are the youth that are employing these politicians, and when they get in office, they want us to create jobs and depend on self-employment instead of helping us. Shame on all you Kenyan politicians. Isaac Mudhusi, you say unemployment in Kenya is like cancer in its last stages. No cure, only chemotherapy is happening. Okay. Online Oscar, we are an optimistic country, but optimism without planning is daydreaming. Let's take a look at your SMSs. 22422 is our SMS line. Tell us your name and where you're watching from. Steve from Naivasha, good morning. You say, talking of internship in PSC, they will still ask for work experience. Where on earth will we get the experience? I'm a Bachelor of Arts holder, but I'm doing upholstery out here. Will they need to consider young people? Because in some years' time, there will be a crisis. Ogola from Mombasa, you say the youth, especially the graduates, are very selective and others are ambitious. Unless they change this attitude, I've got degree, I cannot do that job, they'll still be lamenting over unemployment. Kolum from Eldoret, you say, thanks for the good conversation on job opportunities for youth. Let the government lower retirement on majority jobs to 50 years. On teachers and government objective to transition to 100% children, the private schools are a huge opportunity. The government should involve or rather partner with private schools and offer them few teachers and require them to provide easy access to poor children. Let's take a look at the last SMS. Sir Nixon from Kindaruma, good morning. You say, congratulations to Madam Mary Wamboi. I join Kenyans in echoing Kipchoge's quote that no human is limited, whether very young or very old. All right, the sarcasm, right? We've really tried to get a lot of your feedback in. Thank you so much for the SMSs and the tweets involving today's conversation, tackling youth unemployment, rather. Oh, I need to take water. When we come back, Willis Roburu is on standby. Today being Workout Wednesday, he'll be doing aqua aerobics. Whether he'll get into the water or not, into the swimming pool, only time will tell. We'll get to see after this short commercial break. Stay with Citizen TV.